Okay, well, let's start with a full breakdown of the main event then, of Derrick Lewis and Aleksei Olienik.
Yes.
Right, because you know a lot about Lewis.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of Derrick Lewis.
I'm a big fan of Derrick Lewis as well.
Knockout King, the Black Beast.
The Black Beast.
Gone. How do you see number 4 versus number 10?
So for me, there's such different style fighters that's where it's going to come down to. You've got someone who gets majority of wins and a lot of wins by submission versus someone who is considered, arguably one of the heaviest punchers, like almost a knockout artist. But unfortunately, Derrick Lewis, although he has this amazing punch, I looked up his takedown defense because I wasn't sure. And he's got like a 50% takedown defense. And that concerns me coming up against Olienik, because if Olienik gets hold of him, takes him to the ground, it's not going to go for long. I think that if Derrick doesn't knock him out in the first round, he's going to get dragged into deep water. It's going to get really tough. I'm also concerned about Derrick Lewis, just how he's been this year. And his last fight was in February. And what has he done since then? You still have to think about the pandemic and how it's affecting people. So I don't know what state he's in. I don't know how he's been keeping. So is he strong-minded currently? I don't know. I feel like Olienik is probably just stronger-headed in general anyway. I feel like he's more focused. And, when you've got 59 wins on your UFC career, trying to hit 60, that's a lot of motivation to try and get another one. So I think, he's got 73 fights I've got down here.
46 submission victories out of 59 wins.
Yeah. And absolutely. Total 73 fights. That's insane.
In MMA, not to mention other grappling he's done. And
but his knockouts, he's only got 8 knockouts, so he's not
a puncher.
Exactly. So this is the tale of
a
two different styles.
Versus stand up and ground versus
So absolutely. I'm concerned for Derrick. As much as I love him, I am concerned.
I agree with you completely. Aleksei Olienik doesn't have good takedowns. What he does is he gets a body lock on you and kind of does a trip. He just drags you down because he doesn't let go. Once he's grabbed you, he will not let go. And his nickname's the boa constrictor for a reason. He just grabs you, drags you to the mat. And I just think back when Derrick Lewis fought Daniel Cormier and how out of depth he was on the ground. And Daniel Cormier, it was a similar fight to the Anthony Johnson fight. He was just avoiding the big punch, take him to the ground and choke him. And that's all Aleksei's going to do. It's, as you say, if Derrick can catch him on the way in, I literally give him a puncher's chance in this. I think stylistically, it's the worst matchup for Derrick Lewis.
Yeah.
By far. Aleksei Olienik is such a good grappler. He's a much better grappler than DC. And DC manhandled Derrick Lewis. The only thing DC has more than Aleksei is better takedowns. But I don't think that would be a problem. If he can get inside against Derrick, he's just going to drag him down and it'll be over quick. I don't see him surviving on the ground. I have seen Derrick Lewis just stand up, though, with a 260-pound man on his back.
Yeah.
And Gabriel Gonzaga just grabbed him by the neck. He just went, just stood up like he was a child.
But Derrick Lewis's last 2 or 3 wins have also been by decision. They've not even been finishes.
Yeah, Latifi was his last fight.
That was February.
And Latifi was moving up from light heavyweight anyway. And Ivanov. That was just before Christmas. So, and then before that, he lost to Dos Santos and then DC. He got KO'd by Dos Santos.
He wasn't ready to try and fight anyway at that point.
No, his back was still fucked.
DC, it just wasn't going to happen. It's also, there is a difference. Like, it was the same as looking at Shevchenko, just a bit too much above, Like, you see Derrick going into the fight, it was like...
I think he even said it, didn't he? I'm not ready for a title fight, and they gave him one.
It's like, it's nice to see him fight, but it's just not really worth it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really flexible as well, isn't he, for a massive man?
He is.
He's got some great switch kicks on him. He's got a good jumping knee.
He's
so if he
also
can do that to Aleksei before he gets if he can manage that distance and land a switch kick, he might, he might be able to do some damage and put Aleksei off of wanting to get the grappling quickly.
Absolutely. He's also been getting very trim as of late. Like when you look at him 2-3 years ago, he's a lot bigger than he is now. He's been changing his composition a bit, so he looks good. But I'm still concerned because he hasn't had a knockout for a while.
Volkov might be the last one where he was getting beaten for like 14 minutes and 30 seconds of that fight.
Yes, fight at the end.
Landed one. Yeah.
Yeah, which could still happen in this fight as well.
Absolutely. If he hasn't got a bad gas tank. I disagree when people say Derrick has a bad gas tank. I don't think he does. For the size he is, I don't think
he looks like he does though. Like
that's deceiving. Yeah, it's so deceiving his appearance.
Yeah, he does. He does mouth breathe quite a lot, and he does sort of hold himself very heavy, but he's still going. Like
he also does the traps. He also does the injury traps. Oh, I'm hurt. Covers up. They come to him, and he unleashes one. It's just like. He plays in it as well.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot better with his boxing as well. If he gets you hurt, he doesn't rush you anymore, and expend all his energy. You see this when people get more experience. They just kind of, okay, now I'm going to pick my shot because he's injured. He can't defend everything. I have more time now. My head's more clear. And I'd like to see him hit the body of Olienik if he can manage the distance all right. But it is literally, Olienik is going to put his helmet on essentially and just run through a punch. He's going to take a couple punches probably to get, because he's not a wrestler. He just grabs the body, he trips his legs, leg to legs, and just drags you to the ground. And then he's normally got side control or your back. So I can see this becoming some form of rear naked choke for Aleksei. Nice, slick, easy submission for him, to be honest. I don't see him having much trouble. I think Derrick has you run this fight 10 times, Aleksei wins it 8 in my head, just based on stylistically. Like, it's the worst matchup for Lewis. Anyway. And he's coming off two wins anyway, one off Verdum and one off Maurice Green.
So you think that he'll get his back coming up against the fence, and Derrick will give him his back trying to get up?
I don't even think it'll be against the fence. I think it'll be like center of the octagon. I think he's just going to run at him, grab him, drag him. I don't think Derrick's going to have the takedown to do it. He might have this brutal strength, which might delay a round. It might be round 2.
Yeah.
But remember, this is 5 rounds. They ain't going to go 5 rounds. Neither of them have a gas tank for 5 rounds. I don't believe either of them have that. Aleksei Olienik's boxing isn't horrific, but it's not great.
No, he's
it's
fine.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's enough to push him to the...
He hits hard. Like, he could still knock him out. It's not likely.
It's heavyweight,
but he does hit hard. Yeah, so it's not like Derrick can even really stand in the pocket with him at all. Like, because he can't get close enough to try and land shots if they're firing straight back at him, and also if he's going to get taken down or just grappled and dragged. So,
yeah.
For me, I'm so shocked. I looked at the Vegas odds. I think it was minus 250 Derrick Lewis, plus 200 Olienik.
I'd bet on Olienik.
I would bet on Olienik. I was looking at this thinking, that's crazy. But I think there's maybe a bit of a hype train behind Derrick Lewis. Like, he is a favorite. People do love him.
They
for
see
me,
Knockout King tattooed on his chest, and they go, he's going to knock him out. And it's like, he hasn't knocked anyone out in a while.
He's a cool guy. He's funny. Like, every time he does a interview in the octagon, it's memorable, So I think people maybe just remember him more than Olienik, and then that sort of swayed the odds, unfortunately. But fortunately, if you feel like putting money on it, I think Aleksei's not a bad bet.
The only thing I can think of that might do it for Derrick as well is in Olienik's last fight, he fought Verdum, and a lot of that was fighting in the clinch, like kind of a Daniel Cormier, one hand behind the head and just hitting. And he was having a lot of success against Verdum. Verdum was out of shape in that fight, though, and wasn't ready for it, like his comeback fight, essentially. If he starts doing that kind of thing to create a body lock situation and grabs the back of the head of Derrick could easily just hit him. and switch his lights off. So that's the only other option I could see is maybe a clinch game and Aleksei gets a bit overconfident and gets dropped. He's been dropped before plenty of times. So I think it's only a puncher's chance though for Derrick. Unless he like switch kicks him or flying knees him as he comes in for a takedown. Something so one shot. It's a one shot punch. It's not going to be. Yeah. It's going to be a one shot punch if Derrick wins. On paper, anyway. MMA maths does not work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It never adds up.
No, but they're both coming off wins. It'll be a good fight, but I don't see it lasting past 2 rounds.
So for me on this, you could put me down for Olienik.
Yeah, I think we're both down for Olienik on this. I love Derrick, but I've got to bet against him.
Yeah, I love him as well. It's just kind of sad, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Every time I bet against him, I've lost as well, though, so that doesn't help. Mainly the Francis Ngannou fight.
What you were thinking Ngannou?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were both just scared of each other.
Yeah, if you think Derrick Lewis hits hard, welcome, enter France. Francis says, hold my beer.
Yeah, but Francis was also coming off of the Stipe fight and just sort of...
What does that fucker have to do to get another shot at the title? He's won 4 he's won 4 fucking fights in a row after that. After that, Derrick Lewis won. And all of them have been under a minute. And one of them that has been over a minute is like 1 minute, 20 seconds. It hasn't even added up to a round in the octagon in those 4 fights.
That's crazy.
He's knocked them all out. I'm like, what does this fucker have to do?
Maybe
to get another title shot. He has to get the winner of Stipe DC. He has to.
Yeah, but that's what everyone's been waiting on, unfortunately. It is the back and forth that has taken years because Stipe was making, DC weight, DC's making Stipe weight. Like, it just takes time. So, yeah, it's just been on hold really for that. But we'll see the result of that as well this month. So, but if they're both stepping out, then that puts Ngannou in for title contention. But who would you put him up against if neither of them were there?
It depends. Yeah, it depends who's ranked. Well, if Olienik beats Derrick Lewis, he'd jump from rank 10 to rank 4. He'd take the spot of the fella. So you could even argue Olienik, because he's on a 2-fight win streak. It'd be a 3-fight win streak, which in heavyweight is good. So you could argue someone like that over him again, but I don't want to see over him fight Francis again, because last time he lost his soul. Got uppercutted from hell, didn't he?
He does that to a lot of people, though, in Ngannou. So
his feet.
I would like to see
came off the floor.
Yeah, I would like to see an Ngannou Derrick Lewis rematch. I do think that if they fought again, it wouldn't be the same as it was before. I do think it was just Ngannou.
I think Francis would end him pretty quickly.
Yeah, but I want to see it.
So do I.
Because the first time it was just, Ngannou just wasn't feeling it.
15 punches in 3 rounds.
Yeah, it was something close to that. Yeah. And it basically Derrick Lewis won from leg kicks. Like he basically just stood so far away, just chipping at him. It was like this.
That was on the original Stipe DC card as well, wasn't it?
Wasn't that? That was a January card, like 2-3 years ago, right?
I'm pretty sure 2 years ago. That was Stipe DC 1, where DC knocked him out in the first.
Right.
Because we watched it together at Mole Place.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, so we both say Aleksei on that. I don't see it any other way. It'll be 60 wins for him, 47 subs. That's my opinion. I think putting a bet on not only Olienik, but Olienik by submission is a very good... He ain't going to be winning by decision. It ain't going decision. There's no way. And he ain't knocking Derrick Lewis out. He ain't going to stand with him. He's not stupid. He's a smart fighter.
I mean, that's the only threat of Derrick Lewis is to stand with him. So
this is where Derrick Lewis armbars him or something. Triangle choke for Derrick.
That would be impressive.
Subbing this guy, subbing the boa constrictor, the guy that lets people mount him because he's got such a good squeeze that you normally need a gi for. He can do with just his arms. It's insane. The leverage this fucker produces. I'd love to be put in it and just see how strong it is.
All right, I don't want to do that.
No? I would like to, because Ezekiel choke is done with the gi and he's managed to not use a gi. I've never seen it been done without a gi. So, the fact he can do it, he's done it multiple times as well from the bottom. Unbelievable.
I'll pass.
Yeah, pass on that. Should we talk about Mr. All-American?
Yeah, this is the only other fight I feel confident enough that I know to talk about. The other fights you'll have to educate me a little bit. So
go for it.
So Chris Weidman's last fight, obviously he moved up to light heavyweight and fought Dominic Reyes and just got KO'd. Like, just wasn't even surprising, really.
Not even a hard shot.
No, but when you look at Weidman's last 6 fights, 5 of them he's been knocked out. At what point is he stepping away? Why does he feel like he needs to still be here? Like, he was the champ, like, great, but at this point, mate, you're just tarnishing your record. Like, everything you've done, like your last 6 fights, it's not good, and there has to be a point where you look after your health first. Like, what is happening? So I do not feel good coming into this for Chris Weidman. I think this is another opportunity for Chris Weidman to lose, perhaps not from KO, because Akhmedov, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yep, Akhmedov. Yep. Akhmedov.
He's a wrestler, so I don't see him knocking Weidman out, but Weidman just isn't looking sharp and hasn't looked sharp for a long time. So what are we doing here, you know?
Is a fact. Yeah, the only person he's beaten the last 6 fights was Kelvin, and Kelvin still dropped him a couple of times in that fight, and he managed to get an arm triangle, which he never uses his ground game. He's got a black belt under Matt Serra, just doesn't bother using it. He always tries to just box people, which I think his chin's gone. I think his chin's definitely gone.
Yeah,
I think Luke Rockhold, when he mounted him and beat him up for 2 minutes when Herb should have stopped that fight, I think his chin was just breaking left, right, and centre, and it's just never.
Because you're right.
Gegard Mousasi beat him up. He was winning the fight against Jacare Souza, but then Jacare hit him and he just collapsed and didn't know where he was. I think his chin's just gone. I think his fight IQ's still there. He knows how to fight. His body just can't keep up with his mind anymore. Who's he beat? He was 13-0
when he got the champ. Yeah.
No. After that, I think he was like 9-0 when he beat Anderson.
So he defended. He was champ for what, 2 years?
Beat Anderson.
Yeah.
Through cocky Anderson. He got lucky there.
It was the
There's a lucky punch because he was losing that fight as well. Anderson was beating in that fight. His leg was fucked. Second fight, freak accident. I think he got very fortunate again because, again, Anderson was winning that fight. His leg breaks. Then he was called the Brazilian Killer. I believe he fought Vitor Belfort and Lyoto Machida. Beat both of those guys. And then he fought Luke Rockhold. And Luke Rockhold caught that spinning wheel kick he did. Dropped him on his ass. Ground and pounded him for a few minutes. And then the next round finished him. And just destroyed him. He then fought Yoel Romero. Yoel flying kneed him in the head. Gegard Mousasi lost to him. Beat Kelvin. And then he lost to Jacare Dominic Reyes. It's like he's fought killers, to be fair to him, and he's nearly beat a couple of them.
The division has just got tougher and tougher as well. But I think,
and he's moving back down to middleweight now as well.
That's what I'm also concerned about. That he did go up to Dominic Reyes, and he's coming back down to this. But since taking out, since getting the championship, since beating. The name is escaping me in my brain right now.
Anderson.
Since beating Anderson, the division's just got tougher and tougher. And the people that have been coming up since then, it's just a different class. And we've spoken about this many times before, that he was bred to beat Anderson.
Everyone was. At that point in time, because Anderson was such a long reigning champ with whatever it was, 10 or 11 title defenses, 16-fight win streak. And he was flip-flopping from middleweight, light heavyweight as well, just having fights in both. He was so... that's why people consider him the GOAT. He was so good. Everyone was an Anderson killer. But he was the only one that was semi-successful. And when Ray Longo said in the corner, I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. And then he went out and he caught him. It was like an extended left hook, like a lead left hook.
Just because he was swinging...
Yeah, it's cocky. It's Anderson. He just got a bit arrogant, a bit too arrogant. And that was kind of the end of him. His chin started deteriorating. He was getting older, but he'd already had his career. Weidman's career is that's all he's known for. He beat Anderson Silva, but That's it. No one remembers him. Not many people could. I reckon could just name the fights I named. I only have one written down here, which says Luke Rockhold. I named all those, and I doubt many people remember them because they're just so shit.
I was going to say the same thing to you. It's the Luke Rockhold one is the only one that I vaguely remember.
Because that was so horrific.
That's the only, and then obviously it was after Luke Rockhold that then Bisping would come in as well. So I remember all of that. Yeah. So I just don't see why Weidman is still fighting. So for this,
Akhmedov has a good record. He's not faced any top tier person yet though. He's not had a
lot of fights in UFC.
Everyone he's fought, Timbo, Zach Cummings, Ian Heinisch, people like this, he's beaten. All decision, yes, granted, but he's looked good. He's not really lost rounds, and he's beaten. He's beat who they've given him, which is all you can do. They're giving him a name now. You beat Chris Weidman, we'll feed you some top tier people. He's 20 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. I have that written down here. He's rank 11. Weidman doesn't even have a rank anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I did notice that.
Not even in the top 15. He's not even in top 15. This, like, Amari's like, why am I taking Weidman? He's only taking him because Weidman did name. That's it.
And it's previous champ.
Champ. You know,
there's
test
notoriety.
yourself maybe. Like, I think Amari Akhmedov doesn't get the credit he deserves for his boxing. It is pretty good. He's a proper good wrestler, though. So is Weidman. I think this is going to be a striking match. When you get 2 negatives, as it were,
you
very rarely see
each other out.
Yeah, with jiu-jitsu, you might see him go to the mat like Gunnar Nelson, Damian Maia did. They wanted to test themselves on the mat, fair play. When you get 2 wrestlers, you're not just going to be sniffing each other's crotch for the whole thing. So they just start, like Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, it was like, who's worse at striking? That's all you saw. It wasn't 2 elite level strikers. It was just 2 basic strikers having a fist fight.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get 2 basic. Well, I think Chris Weidman's his striking is a lot better than Amari Akhmedov's. But I think Amari's a lot tougher. He wants it more, and his chin's not gone. And I think Amari could catch him, do some damage, might TKO him. I'm going to say TKO for it. I'm going to say he actually finishes him. And I think this will be the retirement fight of Chris Weidman.
I think it'll be a finish as well. TKO or KO.
Yeah.
I
think Don Reyes is the only person that's actually put his lights out. So that's why I say TKO. Maybe Yoel. You could consider Yoel kind of did with the flying knee because he was on the floor, but I think the ref stopped. He was still conscious, but I think Don Reyes pretty much gave him a flash knockout.
Dom was so much bigger than Weidman in that
fight. So much bigger. Dom should be potentially fighting a heavyweight. He's John Jones size. He's massive. It's a big boy.
And the fight between Dom and Jones as well was just so close. So close.
Yeah.
I still actually think Jones won. I do still think Jones won that fight, but it was so close.
Yeah, I could argue it for both. You know, the first 3 rounds Reyes, I gave the 3rd round to Jones. So it just depends what you see. But yeah, so I'm putting my money on Amari. I
agree
as well.
Yeah, I agree. Which is sad as well for Weidman. I just don't think he should be fighting.
I wouldn't mind seeing Weidman win and then retire. I don't want him to keep fighting because, as you say, what's he got now? He's never going to get a title shot again, ever. He is not that good. If he fought Darren Till would smash him in a round. If he fought Robert Whittaker would smash him in a round. If he fought Kelvin Gastelum again, I guarantee Kelvin would fuck him up again.
It's a different era now. The different era, the caliber of fighters are just so much more well-rounded.
Imagine Edmund Shabazian or Derek Brunson. All these people that are just in the top 10, they're the only people ahead of Akhmedov. They would smash Chris Weidman. Smash him. I really believe that. You just see how good Derek Brunson was at last week. He'd smash Weidman if he fought like that. Like, Edmund is no joke. You don't knock out Brad Tavares if you're shit. So...
Well, Edmund was just his gas tank and his experience.
Yeah.
But
I think if he hit Weidman with one of those shots he hit Brunson with, Brunson wheezed a bit. You know, he got cracked in the first round. He just took it.
Brunson's also never looked better.
Great. Keep the blonde hair. Working.
Did you see? Speaking on blonde hair, Izzy obviously dyed his hair blonde.
Yeah, and Costa.
Now it's bright pink. So
is it?
It's bright pink right now. I hope he keeps it that way. It looks great. It's glowing.
Did you see Paulo Costa's like music video kind of thing he made for Israel?
No.
It's like him looking all like going out for a date, combing his hair in the mirror, and then like his girlfriend is like Israel Adesanya, and it's like face swapped on. It's so, but everyone was like, why did he have to make it sexual? He made it so weird. And there was a video as well. It's like, oh, he's in such an incredible shape. He threw 20 kicks in 12 seconds, and he's like kicking the pads. And I'm like, I threw 25 in 10 seconds. Like, that's not that good. I bet Izzy could do about 40. And like the kicks are quite average.
Yeah, I think Costa's bigger and slower.
Like, they're just not. I don't know how he's making middleweight. He's got to extract them steroids. Like that guy is drinking some Puerto Rican juice or whatever. Something. He's drinking something. There's something in his water.
I think he's got amazing genetics, but I think he's way too blown up for the division. Like I don't know how he cuts. That is crazy. I'm looking forward to that fight.
His genetics are injected, though.
You think they come out of a syringe?
I do. I don't know. Like, Yoel is crazy, but Yoel ain't that big.
Yoel was made in a lab. Yoel's not human.
On Rogan's podcast, there was a doctor apparently that said, "Where did you find this guy?" And and Dana White was like, "Yeah, he's good, and he's in good shape." And the guy was like, "No. I've never seen bone density like this."
They were talking about the fibers behind his eyes, and they were saying
his actual eye. Yeah, the actual eye.
They were saying they're so thick. They're like, where did he come from? Like the density of even like the small muscles in his face. Like these, what is this?
Yeah, where did you find this guy?
Yeah,
he is in everyone.
100%. And everyone that's ever hit him says it's like hitting steel.
Luke Rockhold said it felt like hitting a brick wall. It was just ridiculous.
He looks like that.
He said every time I hit him, it hurt my hand. And then what happened to him? Yoel smashed him against the cage.
He's got so many issues with his spine, like with his vertebrae, that his neck is fused. I think that helps him because you're not going to get whiplash or anything from a punch. A lot of the time,
would it move you back as a block almost?
Well, he just sort of like, his head moves with his shoulders because he's got fused discs. So, you can get a knockout from getting whiplash. Someone's head pings back and it's their neck that actually knocks them out, not the punch. That doesn't happen with him because it's just so solid. So it's just sort of like bang. It's like, whoa.
Havana juice.
Crazy.
Somewhere I do want to go. Let's go Havana. Just wear Yoel Romero t-shirts.
I've been to Havana.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't go since I don't drink anymore. It'd be the wrong place.
I had rum there, yeah. Bought some cigars as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But this was when I was much younger, so.
12. Who's next? Right, so we're going against Chris Weidman. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
You're going to get hurt. Right. Which leads us on to my favourite fight of the night, just because of who he is. You've
got to educate me here.
Darren Stewart. Ex-Cage Warriors middleweight champion. He had a rough first go in the UFC. He actually took him 4 fights to get a win, which most people would be cut. But I believe he got a draw, 2 losses. Or one of them may have been a no contest turned around. It was a no contest, not a draw.
Am I right in thinking that he recently had another fight in Cage Warriors?
So, when COVID actually happened and they had to have a UFC cancelled, Cage Warriors offered to take some of the fights on to one of the events. And he was in the UFC, but he had a fight against Bartosz Fabinski at Cage Warriors, who was a welterweight who lost his opponent. So he went up to middleweight to fight Darren and actually beat Darren, which is so fucking embarrassing. And I'm sure he finds it so embarrassing as well because he came in prepared, but it's the shock of it. You're at Cage Warriors again. It's like a Premier League side suddenly being in the Championship for a season again. It didn't make sense to him, I think. And he's got some good wins on his record in the UFC. Since he had that 4-stint blip where he went no contest, loss. UFC gave him a 2-fight contract, I think, and then he got 2 wins in a row. They gave him another one. He got another 2 wins in a row and then lost the next one. So he got 4 wins out of the next 5. really good. He's a middleweight that has, like all English people, mediocre wrestling. If someone tries to take him down, you're probably going to get him down. He'll be hard to hold, but you'll get him down. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He comes out of the MMA clinic in London. So he's, I met him when he came out of Romford's MMA clinic when he was with Brad Wheeler at one point, the crazy kid who still fights at Cage Warriors. He's got a great record of like 20 wins and 18 losses or something crazy. Do
you think Brad will stay in Cage Warriors, or do you think Brad will make his way to the UFC?
No, he'll never make his way to the UFC. No, he's that level. He knows he's at that level. He could potentially maybe get to a title. If he ever got to a Cage Warrior title, I think he'd just retire.
He's a favourite in Cage Warriors as well.
Yeah, he's just a fan favourite. He's a lad. Yeah. He's like a fan jumping in the octagon having a go. But he's actually really skilled. I think he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, or maybe a black belt. He's fucking class. But Darren's called the dentist for a reason. He is seriously strong, and he's got serious knockout power for the weight division, which is middleweight. But then you think of the top tier people, and I'm comparing his power. When he was at Cage Warriors, he was knocking everyone out. He really was. And some of his wins here, he went split decision with Edmund Shabazian. He went 3 rounds of Edmund. And got
that was Edmund's only fight that went the distance.
Yes, and it's against Darren Stewart. Shows what he's like on his game. He fought the prospect like that. He then beat Bevan Lewis. Great. He then beat Darren Wood. And then he lost to Bartosz Fabinski. But he's also beaten Charles Bird, who Maki Pitolo, his opponent here, that was his last fight. He also fought Charles Bird. So they have common ground. They've both beaten Charles Bird, both by TKO. So he's 11 wins, 5 losses, and then the 1 no contest. So Darren coming into the UFC, I think had only lost once or twice, maybe. Yeah, once. So he's lost like 4 fights in the UFC. One technically in the Cage Warriors reboot against Fabinski. His boxing, I have not seen improve since he's joined the UFC. The only thing I've seen improve, to be honest, is his cardio. He's not a technical boxer. He's not a technical striker. He's a power puncher. He's very similar to he's like the English lower key version of Derrick Brunson, in my opinion. Just, he doesn't have this. Derrick Brunson can shut your lights off in any 1 second. Darren, I don't think can anymore. When I think of, he's a very hard puncher. I think of all the people, who's a harder puncher than him? I could name loads. I can name so many in this division. Costa, Romero, Till, Whitaker, Israel. They are all harder punchers than Darren Stewart. Brunson, harder puncher. All the top 10 is a harder puncher than Darren. He is not ranked for a reason, because I think if he steps up to a ranked opponent, he's going to fall short. I think he's going to unfortunately fall in the category of a roster fighter that's rolling all the time. I hope I'm wrong, but it just seems like that, because I don't see him improving like Israel did. Every fight you saw Israel do when he came in, he improved. He got taken down the next fight. He worked on his takedown defense. It was so hard to take him down. He nearly got subbed in one. Okay, the next fight, he's trying to triangle someone else. He's showing you, I'm training jiu-jitsu now. And it just went up and up. With Darren, when he loses by the same way. He just gets gassed and he loses the decision.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing every time. Maki Pitolo is a serious striker. He lost to Callum Potter, though, which was super embarrassing. Callum Potter is not elite. He's Hawaiian, so he's obviously got the Hawaiian fighting instinct of bite your gum shield and swing. Same as Max Holloway, same as BJ Penn. That kind of rock'em sock'em robot fighting style. But he doesn't need to fight like that. I think if he gets into one of those kind of wars with Darren Stewart, Darren's going to eat him up for lunch. I think if he tries to just swing at Darren will knock him out. He's that sharp. But Maki Pitolo's only had 2 fights in the UFC since winning the Contender Series.
I'm just looking now at Maki's stats as well, and there's a significant height difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
There's 3-inch height difference at the, I think that's
What's Darren,
significant
6'1"?
enough. He says 6'2", yeah, we said 6'2". This last time, but six foot. Sorry, yeah, 6 foot. Darren Stewart, yeah.
Okay, I can tell you that's a lie because he's taller than me. I'm 6 foot, and I've met him, so he's definitely like 6'1", 6'2". He's a big boy.
So yes, and Maki being 5'9".
Small. That's Kelvin height. That's small for middleweight. This is middleweight.
And his frame his frame is not the same as Kelvin's either.
Yeah, I think Maki Pitolo it should be a welterweight. So personally, I don't see Maki Pitolo winning it, but it is the battle of the best nicknames. You got the dentist versus coconut bombs.
Coconut bombs, that is awesome.
It's a great nickname. I don't see if Darren's on point. This is Darren make a statement, knock him out, call out, have someone in your head ready, make some noise, call out a top 15 guy, and try and drag your way in. If Maki wins this, Darren's on his last legs because he just lost to a guy that was taking a one-day fight from welterweight. You cannot lose to Fabinski. You can't. And expect yourself to... He needs a bounce-back fight. He needs to make a statement in the bounce-back. I always think if you lose, the next fight you do has to be a statement. You can't just do another decision and just be boring and whatever, because the UFC will find an excuse to get you out. I don't think they are looking for an excuse for Darren. I just think he's got to tread carefully because he's going to take a lot of L's. Otherwise, suddenly his record will be 50% losses or 25%
Very
losses.
close.
Sorry, 25%.
Close, yeah.
He'll be 11 wins, 6 losses. You know, it'll be more than half.
Yeah.
It'll be halfway to. You know what I'm trying to say.
I get you.
It's yeah.
And we have to remember it's still a business, and that UFC are looking to make money out of fighters and fighters that are engaging and
they cut Dolby.
People want to watch.
They cut people like Nick Dolby when Dolby wasn't doing. He had a couple losses in a row, 2 losses, and the UFC were like, actually, we don't really like you. Get out. He goes to Cage Boys, smashes everyone again. UFC are like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, we fired him. Get him back. So. I think if Darren needs a confidence boost and knocking out Maki Pitolo, who's like got a lot of steam, he's got more fights than Darren, or has he got the same fights? No, same fights.
He's got 2 more fights.
Has he?
Yeah, he's got 2 more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's got a tiny bit more experience, but he's only just got into the UFC, so he's trying to prove a point as well. So whoever wins this fight, I expect a big call out. So. I don't expect a top 10 opponent if Darren wins, but I expect him to make a fucking call out of someone in the 15. I don't know who's in the middleweight 15. I mean, let's have a quick snoop. I'm on the site now. Middleweight top 15. So he could, if he called out Marvin Vettori, Ian Heinisch, Brad Tavares, there you go. There's a good fight. Or Antonio Carlos Jr., someone like that. If he called out I think Brad Tavares or Ian Heinisch. Ian Heinisch just lost to Omari Akhmedov. So you're getting someone that has fought bigger people. If he can beat someone like that, he's got it. Then he's got his way in. Then he can fight a name. Like he would get a Chris Weidman, for instance. He might get, if Kelvin loses another fight, Kelvin would drop into the 10 to 15 ranks. And if he wins that next fight, he could be fighting a name. And then people see, oh, he knocked out Kelvin. He must be all right. You know what I mean? Like, people might not hold Weidman in good recognition right now. But if Omari beats him, people will go, Omari, not bad. People that think Weidman's good, they'll take note. I still think Weidman is very good. So I will be on, if Omari beats him, I'll be like, bravo. That is very good. But I think Darren Stewart needs to call out someone like a Weidman. If Weidman doesn't retire, call out Weidman. Smash his face in. You can see he's weak. He's a name. That kind of thing. Do you know what I mean, though? Like, get your face out there.
It's just unfortunate for Weidman because then people just start using him as a platform, like as a stepping stone.
It's your fault. Leave the sport.
He shouldn't be fighting. He shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah, get your face out.
I actually just wanted to look up the Edmund Shabazian fight again that Darren Stewart had with, and I know it went to decision. But I'm just seeing it went to split decision. And I didn't know that. One
judge thought he won. Yeah.
So to go split decision with Edmund Shabazian, that should say something. And then to have only, if you were to discount that, I mean, you've then got to look at his last, 6 fights. With the exception of that one, there's only one other fight he's lost.
What, Bartos, other than Fabinski?
Yeah, and that was the Bartos. So I think his record looks pretty good. He's not.
It's just hit and miss. It's inconsistent. That's what it is. He just needs to run. He needs to run.
Well, they're both fairly new, aren't they? They're both. not enough experience, I suppose.
And the UFC likes Brits as well. They like English. There's not a lot of English fighters. So when an English fighter does well, they've got a big market over in Europe. A lot of people, the Irish, the Welsh, the Scottish, the English, they have marketability here. There's no better fans, everyone has said, than the Irish. So you put some Irish and the English and the Welsh and the Scots all on one card in Dublin, suddenly blows up. They want English people to do well, hence Nathaniel Wood. He got someone quite lower down again. They gave him John Dodson. Okay, we've maybe pushed you too high. Let's not do a Darren Till with you. We'll feed you a couple more. I think like a Nathaniel Wood and a Sean O'Malley, they're getting pushed the same way. Give them some, not nobodies. That's a bit harsh, but people they should be, so they get experience.
It's how the other bantamweights are describing it though. They're just saying who have you beaten yet, but they've got a point.
They're talking out their arse though as well, because they all started like that as well.
Yeah, and I don't want to see them rushed.
And everyone's like, I'm fighting main events, mate. Go shine my shoes or some shit like that. It's like, mate, you weren't a fucking prelim once. I got UFC like 100. John Jones on the prelims. The one where Frank Mir v Brock Lesnar 2. John Jones on the prelims with an afro and white shorts on.
I haven't seen that with an afro.
Yeah, still eye poking people. It's like a little afro, like a Samuel Jackson Pulp Fiction afro. Jules, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he's still quality.
Let's go look at that.
The next couple fights after that, he fought for the title. So
youngest champ ever.
Was it 24? Something like that. Madness.
Yeah.
Imagine being younger than me, and being the light heavyweight champion of the world, and then never losing the belt ever. You've never been beaten since.
PEDs though.
You reckon?
Yeah.
you think John? Oh, there's another video. John Jones guilty. That's the only reason I can't throw him into the GOAT conversation.
The only reason I think that it's more guilt than accidental is the talks of him hiding. Like about them showing up, trying to get tested, and him hiding underneath the cage, stuff like that. So he's purposely was avoiding the drug tests. So yeah, I think PEDs. But this isn't news to anybody. And then also when you look at things like the TJ Dillashaw, like he was getting away with it. Like he was doing things and getting away with it. So how many fighters?
What was it? Lance Armstrong. Same thing Lance Armstrong did, right? And all the Russian cyclists and stuff like that.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was EPO.
But still, he's doing something that is illegal, and he was getting away with it for a while by the looks of things. So how many people were doing it and not getting caught? A lot of people obviously dropped straight out of it when USADA it became a thing, but I think there's a few people that was trying to figure it out and still doing it, I don't know.
True that. Who've you got then for Maki Patola versus Darren Stewart? I got head and heart here.
Wait, so your heart is saying the dentist?
Yeah, I want Darren to win, so I'm going to say Darren, just because I really want him. Yeah.
All right, then for argument,
he's East London, isn't he?
He is, but just for fun, I'll go for Mackie.
All right. Go for coconut bombs.
Yeah, that is a killer son. That is a killer nickname, so why not? And I like the Hawaiians, the Hawaiian guys. So why not?
Who doesn't, right? Right. And then, this is one I'm actually looking forward to. Okay. We've got Yana Kunitskaya, who I really like watching fight. Versus, now I don't know how to pronounce her first name. I'm assuming it's just Julia. It's her impression of the name Julia. Stolorienko. I can't pronounce her name. But this lady, she just won the Invicta Bantamweight title. So this is her UFC debut. And she's already fighting the number 8th ranked girl in the world. So, Yana, I'm not sure how aware you are of Yana. She did fight, I believe she got brought into the UFC to fight Chris Cyborg at 145. She was one of those opponents, unfortunately. Same as Lena Landsberg was and a few others. And Tonya Evinger, people like that. There was no opponents, obviously, for Cyborg in a 145 division. So they have to call Invicta up and go, you got any girls at this weight? And they're like, not really, but they can gain a bit. No, like it was so
sacrificial lambs, basically.
It was. They knew they were going in, bringing a knife to a gunfight every time with Cyborg. She was just genetically bigger, and taking steroids early in her career, her body was just adapted and looked very mannish, and she had so much muscle compared to everyone else. She just looked like a bloke, to say it nicely, I guess. Without it's not nice, but she did. She just looked mannish. She's smashing everyone. Yana, unfortunately, was one of those sacrificial lambs. She did all right. She hung in there, but she still lost, obviously. But after she lost, she fought Lena Landsberg, who also lost to Cyborg, the Swedish fighter. I love Lena Landsberg. I think she's great. And she beat her by decision. She also beat Marion Reneau by decision as well. And then, so they're her 2 wins in the UFC. She has 4 fights altogether. So Cyborg beats Landsberg, beats Marion Reneau, and then fights the up-and-comer Aspen Ladd. Aspen Ladd smashes her. Aspen Ladd smashes her. So, no problem with her record at all. It's 12 wins, 5 losses, and 1 no contest. It's a good record, and she's number 8 in the world for a reason. She's a very good kickboxer. She's got great teep kicks and Muay Thai teep kicks. She's good at checking kicks. She's good at creating space, getting angles, using her elbows. She likes a clinch game. She likes a plum clinch. Just don't take it down kind of thing. Like most of these girls, a lot of them don't have wrestling, and the ones that do have wrestling kind of go the furthest. Your Cookie Monsters, your the Carla Esparza, the Tatiana Suarez. Yeah. They all go further when they've got a bit of wrestling. The Amanda Nunes is great wrestling. Felicia Spencer, who just fought, went 5. Yeah. Tough cookie. She's fucking good wrestler as well. Julia has. I'm going to say Julia, whether it's wrong or right. I don't really want to say Julie because
she's Lithuanian, so I believe it is Julia. I think you're right.
Okay, it's just got like an extra I in there. It's like Julia.
That's you could say Julia. Like a lot of Lithuanian girls will just tell you their name is Julia, so you could say Julia.
So let's go with Big Jules. So she's got 9-3-2 as a record. It's a really odd record to have when you've got 14 fights. Is that? Yeah, 14 fights, and you've got 2 draws and 3 losses. It's a bit weird to have 2 draws that early on. But yeah, as I said, so she's just making. Is it really bloody? Her last fight when she won the title. Jimmy Smith was commentating with Megan Anderson. It was a really good fight. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a great fight. It's a very good fight, very bloody. Probably the bloodiest women's fight I've seen. And she wins the bantamweight title. She's got heavy hands. Despite not getting knockouts and stuff, she does have heavy hands. These women are tough as fuck, though. Some of these can take some punches. You've seen Felicia Spencer. She took... Amanda hits as hard as some blokes. I guarantee it. And she just took 5 rounds of beating. I bet there was 4 10-8s in that fight.
I was so surprised by that fight. Like, Felicia hanging in like that, I was so surprised. From the beginning, I thought that she shouldn't be there either. Like, Amanda just being a head above the rest. But yeah, she really just absorbed everything. And bravo for doing it,
Yeah, credit
to go 5 rounds with the champ, the GOAT,
Go to women's MMA, for sure.
Yeah.
So this is her UFC debut. So will she have nerves?
Okay.
Don't think so. She just won the bantamweight title. She's not going to defend it or anything like most of these girls don't. They just move up. What's next? They're not going to just stick around in Invicta and earn no money. You get some, you get much more money. And I like that there's a whole women's promotion though out there. I love it. Just a feeder league for just women. Invicta is one of the best promotions out there, and it's really well run as well. UFC debut against Yana. Yana's got experience against tough people, real tough people. You don't get much tougher than Lena Landsberg, Marion Reneau, Cyborg, and Aspen Ladd. And she's beaten 2 out of 4. So a 50% win rate in the UFC. I think she's going to give Julia a shock for her first fight. I think she's going to outclass her completely. I think she's going to create the distance. I think she's going to use the clinch as well when it gets in tight, and she's going to use the sharp elbows. And then when it's out of the clinch, I think it's going to be back to teeping leg kicks. Maybe use that calf kick, but just keep it on the teep. Keep it, just outpoint it. I don't think it's going to go... I think it will be a decision. I think it will be a unanimous decision to Yana. I don't see her really being troubled, to be honest. But I know a few people have said Julia as an upset because she's got heavy hands, as I say, and she could catch you, and this might be her, her coming out party. You come to the UFC and now she goes on the roll now. Now she's going to get it. So
from my perspective, because I don't know either fighter in this case.
You're doing it based on statistics.
Yeah, I'm just sort of looking at records and just sort of feeling an idea. So I can see from Yulia that from her 9 wins, 8 of which are submissions, and she seems to be pretty fond of the armbar. So what is Yana like in terms of, she's Russian, right? So is she
Ukrainian, I think? Yeah.
Is she a wrestler?
No, she's a striker.
She is just striker? Because if this went to wrestling, I would be worried for. That's
what I'm saying, about creating the distance and keeping the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would then say that, she doesn't have striking. Like, she has no TKOs,
that's what I'm saying.
no KOs.
She does have striking. She just uses it to get to the ground. Much like Olienik. Right. It's that kind of thing, just heavy hands. I don't expect her to like light her up and knock her out or anything. But I expect her to, she could make Yana pay and get a TKO. She definitely could. But I think if she went down, it'd be much like a Gunnar Nelson situation. Gunnar Nelson is striking, but he only uses that striking to hit you to a knee, and then he'll quickly grab your neck. And she'll do much the same.
That's true.
She'll much do the same. That's kind of how she plays it. She wants to get into her world as easy as possible, and the punches for her are more like a takedown. It's just to weaken you so she can then.
I've got another little fact here though, is that her submissions. Oh my God, they seem to be of the last. Okay, so of her last 5 fights, 4 of them she won by submission, 4 of them were by armbar, and they were within 30 seconds.
Yep, Ronda Rousey version 2, eh?
That's insane.
Yeah. It's literally no one's done that since Ronda.
That's exciting, to be honest. Like, so for me, just looking at this information, it just sort of gets, without knowing who they are.
You're getting hard exciting. For Julio, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that looks crazy. And if I look down, what have we got? We've got a decision that she lost, split decision. And then before that, another 3 wins, all first rounds, finishes by armbar. And a draw before that. And then before that, she lost with a couple of KOs, TKOs, but that was in 2015 and 2014. So
it's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, so I think in the last 5 years, she's lost 1 split decision, had 1 draw, and then otherwise just been so dominant with her groundwork. So, damn, I'm going to have to back Julia with this one. This looks
back
crazy.
Julia. This is good for her thing. Okay. It's a 50-50 fight for me. It really is. I just favour a striker always. Especially like Thai boxing. And
I think if you can close the gap and get a finish, I mean, one of these actually just says 0 seconds. So I don't know what that looked like.
She teleported to her.
But I don't know what that looked like. But I mean, if she can do this, literally, they've all been first rounds. Like her 8 finishes have all been first round. So
yeah, it'll either be over quick or Yana will win. I think Yana by decision.
All right, I'm gonna go for Julia, and I'm gonna have to say submission.
Yeah, first round.
Hopefully, but
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Then we get I think there's only a couple on here, but lightweight fight. It's a good one. Benny, I can never do his fucking name. Dariush. We've got Dariush versus Scott Holtzman. And Scott fought not too long ago, actually, against Cody Stamen. And Cody went up to 145. So Scott's actually going up, I think, to 155 now. And Benel's always been here. And the list of names on his resume are fucking strong. The people Benel Dariush has beaten is won his last 4 in a row. Now, I'm assuming you're not aware of this ground game specialist. Talk about someone he's basically like John Fitch, if you remember John Fitch.
No.
John Fitch was rated the most boring fighter in history. He basically was Khabib without any pizzazz, no jazz hands, no nothing.
No substance.
No substance. He just grabbed your legs, took you to the ground, and held you there. That was it. Just held you for 3 rounds. and won and won and won. He was like 19-1 when he fought GSP, and GSP fucking fell. But the list of fighters Beneil Dariush has beaten: Frank Camacho, Drew Dober, James Vick, Michael Johnson. People like this. He lost to Alex Hernandez and Edson Barboza. No shame in that. He's on a 4-fight win streak. 18 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. So 2 of the 4 losses are Edson Barboza, again, no shame, and Alex Hernandez. Alex Hernandez is an arsehole, so fuck him. Don't want to talk about that twat. Being all racist against Cowboy, wasn't he? Fuck Alex Hernandez. I think Scott Holtzman is a very average fighter. I don't think he's much more than that. He's just, he's got a decision win over Jim Miller. Jim Miller's been fighting in the UFC for about 15 years. It's not, wow. Jim's cool, but I think he holds the second most wins in UFC history. He's like 1 behind Cowboy. So, and he's still fighting, so's Cowboy. So they're just going to keep pushing this barrier up and up and up and up and up and up until it's unreachable. And he also beat Dong Hyun Ma, who I do not know who that fucking is. So I was like, okay, well, there is notable wins.
I don't know who that is. I'm just reading it was a TKO due to doctor stoppage, though.
That's my point. It's like...
So, but that means he's done enough damage,
Forgettable fight, though. Super forgettable fight. I remember the one against Jim Miller because it was a decision, and I was bored. And I only remember it because I love Jim Miller. I like watching a lot of Jim Miller fights. The guy with Lyme disease is still fighting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
Yeah. You'd know if you saw him. Small guy, bald, ginger beard. Yeah.
I know the guy.
He's quality. He's been fighting for forever. I remember he fought an old teammate of Dan's years and years ago called Mac Danzig. And if you watch the fight, it's one of the bloodiest fights ever. I believe Jim hits him with an elbow from guard. He's in Mac's guard and just slices an elbow into him. And Mac's forehead opens from here to here, and it's just Jim's wearing white shorts. They're red by the end of everything is, the whole canvas is black and red and oozing. Max, I think it goes decision. That was in the second round, first minute of the second round or something.
So there was no stoppage for that giant cut.
Yeah, write that fight down. You don't see it. Jim Miller versus Mac Danzig. It's fucking awesome. Anyone watching who hasn't seen that as well, shame on you. Brilliant fight. I don't know where it's from. UFC 90 something probably. Beautiful fight. Great fight.
I can tell you if you give me a second.
Yeah, go on. I'm probably way off.
Who was it against?
So it's Jim Miller versus Mac Danzig.
Mac.
Mac MAC.
Yeah. Okay, so that was in 2009. That was on UFC 100. The Lesnar.
Okay.
Lesnar.
I weren't far off then. Oh, so that's another one on that card then. There you go. That'd be a prelim fight on that card. But yeah.
And it was decision. Went to unanimous decision.
Jim Miller win. Yeah. But I remember these fights, boy. In the log back here.
I'm having a hard time remembering what fights happened last week.
I know pretty much every fight of UFC 105 because that's my favourite fight card. Hence, I have the poster of it. But other than that, I think Dariush is just going to eat Scott up. He's going to grab his leg, shove him to the mat, fuck him up on the ground and pound submission any way he wants. Probably submission. He's just too good, and he wants it more. Scott is he's very good. Don't get me wrong, everyone's very good, but he's not fought anyone up here, and when he has, he's gone down. So I'm going to say Dariush comfortably by submission. I'm definitely writing my name on Dariush.
These aren't guys that I know too much about either.
You've definitely seen Dariush fight before. Definitely.
I'm just trying to look and see.
He just hasn't fought in a while.
I'm not jumping out at me. I have watched every fight for the last. I've watched 85-90% of fights for the last 3-4 years, but with the exception of early prelims, I may not have seen all of those. I've seen prelims, but not necessarily all of the early ones. this doesn't jump out at me. I'm not familiar. But there is a fight here. Thiago Moises, I might have seen that fight because that was on the Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez card.
Yeah. Prelim again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine they definitely saw that because I loved that card.
God, hearing of that, Yair's out of against Zabit. Got injured.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Fucking hell. It's like,
Zabit is now obviously calling for a title shot.
Good. I love Zabit.
Yeah.
He's my favourite Russian.
I would love to see Volkanovski just say, yeah, why not? Come on then. Like, because he needs... I feel like Volkanovski he's not quite accepted as champion because it's been so close with Holloway.
I think that's stupid. I think he's beaten Holloway twice. You can argue he beat them. The first time he definitely won. That is, you cannot say Max won the first fight. It's just rubbish.
No, Max didn't have enough output. He wasn't paying attention.
The only people that are moaning are Max fanboys, which is they're going to.
I'm a Max fanboy.
You're not complaining.
I'm not complaining.
The second fight, I can see the opinion to Alex winning. I can. I just very badly disagree with it, but I can see it. I can completely see it. I just disagree with it. I think Max did win the second fight. Was not a robbery.
No.
Wasn't. It was
just unfortunate.
It's a disagreement. If you can argue it for someone else, it's not a robbery. So, why do we want to see a third fight? I do. They've got unfinished business, but not yet.
Not yet.
Just give it a bit.
I agree. That's why I say I think it would be
they
very
fight
interesting.
Someone else. He'll probably lose the belt eventually. They can fight somewhere else. They can fight over 3 rounds. Max will dominate him there.
As much as I love Volkanovski as well, I mean, I'm a Holloway fan first, but Volkanovski is a great guy. I think that he, resembles a great champion. But I feel like he still needs to cement his champion status, And if he now goes, come on then, Zabit, bring him. And if he takes out Zabit, his stock only goes up. Like, that would look amazing for him. I think it's a good idea for him to do it if he feels like he's fresh enough at the moment. I think that would be
if he beats someone like Zabit and then like Calvin Kattar or someone like that as well, whoever's up and coming at the time, Brian Ortega, just shove him off the list like Max did.
It's sad because for me, Yair Rodriguez, I love Yair Rodriguez as well. I'm a big fan of his, so I wanted to see that fight. Because
I wanted to see a lot of spinning shit in that fight.
Yeah. And I think Zabit is a big challenge for him as well. So it would have been a really good fight. I thought it was a cool matchup.
Who did you have winning it?
I mean, I would have backed Yair because I like him so much.
I think he's an arsehole for what he did to Jeremy Stevens. He started mouthing off against Michael Bisping and while he was interviewing him, called Jeremy a fucking fraud and liar and just wanted a way out of the fight. I was like, man, you're an arsehole. Jeremy Stevens wanted out of a fight. The dude lives for fighting.
You have to understand that this was an emotional response to being able to fight in his country for the first time and main eventing, this whole scenario.
Don't poke him in the eye then.
I know, but I have to agree. When I watched the fight, I thought that's kind of dumb. Like Jeremy Stevens looked like he was faking it.
You haven't been poked in the eye.
I've been poked in the eye, but I don't think.
You have an index finger to the back of the eye like that.
Yeah.
You give up. You ain't fighting. You ain't fighting Yair. You got a fucking like that.
No, to me, if you watch the replay, it doesn't even look like he looks like he got him in the right eye, and then he starts blinking out the left eye. And it's like I watched it thinking, please don't stop this. Thinking, don't do. And I lost some respect for Jeremy Stevens there. Maybe it's because I'm too much of a Yair fan. But I think it's blinded you, sir.
Ironically.
But when I'm watching that. Seriously, go back and watch it. He gets poked in one eye and then starts blinking out the other eye. And I was literally like, nah, this is not cool. I understand
to believe that Jeremy Stevens would ever fake an injury. The dude just wants to rip everyone's head off.
You have to also understand, there was the sea level that they were fighting at as well was like all in Yair's favour. Everything was in Yair's favour. Like, he looked incredible, and he was so ready for that to fight in front of Mexico. That's why he got so emotional afterwards. So I don't blame him.
But Zabit, by the way. Zabit, mate. Praise Zabit. So, who are you saying for Dariush and Holtzman?
I don't know enough about either guy. So again, that's why I'm just looking at the records, and I see Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman, has
Another reason
only
to
had
dislike him.
Hot Sauce. All right. He's only had 3 losses, but they all come by decision, and I don't think that's.
And look who they're to.
So Nick Lentz, Josh Emmett, and Drew Dober. Unanimous.
Yeah.
But
now Dariush beat
Dariush has got wins over
Drew Dober,
Drew
Camacho, Johnson, Vic.
Mm,
Got some good names on his resume.
yeah, so we're looking at. I think it's difficult.
He just needs a run. He just needs a few runs.
You know what is good to look at is to look at how many losses someone has by decision. And
if they've been finished 3 times at the 3 losses, it's bad.
Darius has no losses by decision. If he loses, he's getting knocked out. So
he came in quite unfit as well against the Edson Barboza one. He took him lightly, like, I'll just take him down, and he got fucking body kicked to shit. didn't go well.
So I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to go for Darius on this as well.
Darius as well, yeah.
Yeah, just statistically based.
There are fighter picks then for this week. We won't run into all the fights because that's long, and I don't know half of them. I'm looking forward to knowing half of them though. But we'll give shout-outs to Tim Means versus Laureano Stapoli and Nasrat Hakparas. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he fights I believe he fights for GSP, TriStar. He was meant to be the up-and-comer, and then he fought Drew Dober, and I was like, oh, here we go. He's going to knock out Drew Dober and steam up the ranks, and Drew just flatlined him. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's fighting Alex Munoz. So there's some good ones on there. All the rest of the people I don't know, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to find out what they're like, add them to my roster list of people to watch for. If they're boring, they'll soon be forgotten.
Yeah, but to say that, the last fight night where there was a lot of people not known, amazing fights.
Add a lot of them to my list, didn't it? Yeah.
They were so good. So anyone that's not watching, just because you don't know who they are,
that's silly.
It's stupid, because some of these fights end up being better than main events. So
yeah,
definitely worth watching them.
And controversial, some of them as well. You're like, well, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even the last fight night with what do we have? 4 groin shots in the first 2 fights. Like, you'd have
missed all the groin shots if you missed the prelims.
It's just interesting little stuff that happens.
I never get people that just watch main cards. I never get it.
That's a casual for you. If you're literally just watching, I mean, that was me for the first 2 years of watching. I would only watch the main cards, and I would only watch like championship cards. Like if a card had a championship on it, I'd be like, I'm gonna watch this one. And yeah, that was me in like 2014, 2015. And then because of Conor McGregor, that was when I started being like, oh, now I've got to watch more, and I just started getting really into it. Watching
McGregor.
Yeah. And then fast forward even another year later or so, we met, and then I'm just like, oh shit, I need to pay even more attention now. Like, start watching even more. And then you end up, subscribing to Fight Pass and then just watching everything.
Staying up until 5 a.m. every single weekend. So painful. I envy Americans so much. The fact that they could just sit down on a Sunday or Saturday night and just, 7 o'clock, Caesar. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
7 o'clock,
yeah.
1 a.m. here, 1 a.m., 1 a.m., 3
plan
a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
It's not even about losing just, you lose 2 or 3 days because your sleep needs to catch up. And then over this year, when you've got, what was it like? There was like 4 cards in the space of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, I basically...
Tuesday and Wednesday cards, didn't you?
Yeah, I was nocturnal. Like, I literally just had to sleep during the day to be awake for the fights. And I would, like, sit and have breakfast watching the fights at, like, 3 a.m.
If I didn't have a dog at the moment, I would completely be sleeping throughout the day and just working through night and stuff. But it doesn't matter like that. It's poo. My dog would hate it as well. He doesn't like the night.
Well, no, because he's in a normal circadian rhythm. He's doing what we should be doing.
I mean, he just gets frightened at night. in the darkness he thinks there's things there that aren't. So his hackles go up and he starts barking at nothing. I'm like, there's nothing there. He barked at a sofa. We walked past a sofa and he was like, oh, rah, rah. And I was like, it's a sofa, Max. And he just jumped on it. I was like, oh. Idiot.
So it is.
Stupid dog, stupid. Yeah. So we've got good fight cards. We've gone Derrick Lewis, Aleksei Olienik. We've got Aleksei Olienik. Amari Akhmedov versus Chris Weidman. We've both gone Amari. Maki Patola v Darren Stewart. You've gone Maki Patola. You've gone Coconut Bombs. I've gone Dentist. Yep. Yana Kunitskaya versus Julia Stodorenko. We've got me on Yana and you on Julia. And then we're both on Benel Dariush against Scott Holtzman.
It's funny because I didn't know, out of the 5, I didn't know 3 of them particularly well at all. And I am now more excited to watch the girls fight just based on those CVs, based on those resumes. Give
her last fight and Invicta a watch.
I'm going to have to.
Don't last long. It does. But it's nice and gory, so you'll enjoy it. And the Mac Danzig Jim Miller fight.
Yeah, I've written that down as well. So something else for me to check out. Some homework.
And then we've got next week, we'll have the preview for Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 3. And on that card as well is the big talking point, which we're going to get into with a guest next week, of Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera. Because you're going to say Sean O'Malley, and I'm going to explain to you why I think Marlon Vera is going to catch him and fuck him up.
All right.
Because I've been watching Marlon Vera for about 5 years. And he's still he's a different. I just think he's a different level to Sean.
I want to talk about it now. Like, I guess we have to save it. Yeah, I want to talk about it now. But I also want to talk about DC Stipe. Like, I'm just excited to get onto that.
Right, next podcast is going to be like 6 hours long.
Yeah, I'm just not going to be able to shut up about those fights.
That's going to be awesome. I'm actually, at the time of when I mentioned Mac Danzig, I'm going to put a picture up over this video of Mac Danzig's face.
Of the damage
Jim Miller did to him with one elbow. Yeah.
That big split.
Okay. Pissing blood everywhere. But yeah, betting odds though. If Olienik is such an underdog, I would argue put your money on Olienik. I think that's criminal that he's underdog.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it should be pick and fight. It's a 50-50 fight.
Well, the Weidman Akhmedov fight is a pick 'em.
Yeah, I'd favourite Amari. I don't know how good Chris Weidman's headspace is right now, but I just don't care. Because every time he says he's in a good space and he's just shit. He gets hurt and he gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Ray Longo all the time says on Kenny Florian and John Anik's podcast, he's in, I can't do a New York accent, but he's in a good place. He's looking sharp, he's looking fresh. This is, he's going to revitalise. And then he said that against Gegard, he got fucked up. He said that against Yoel, he got flying kneed. He said that against Don Reyes, he got one-shotted. He said that against Ronaldo Susha and he got fucking clipped and fell to his ankles, hugging him, thinking he was still awake.
I remember that.
How many times can you be wrong? I'm like, mate, I don't care. Ray Longo's gym at the moment has one fighter I'm interested in, that's Aljamain Sterling. So,
yeah, I'm really excited for Aljamain as well.
Mate, you better get that fucking next title shot, I swear to God.
Against the paper champ.
Why does everyone hate Petr Yan? He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
It's just what Aljamain's been calling him as well, the paper champ.
I don't know, but loads of people have been hating on Petr Yan, and I'm like, mate, you can fucking hate his personality, but he's a fucking quality fighter.
He is the driest fighter I've ever seen. He wins the belt, and then he just stood with the belt like, cool, I won. And next fight.
You don't love that though? It's like a Cyborgs one though. It's like a Cyborgs one. That's why I love it. He's a robot. He's just completely, I will destroy. And then
literally, there's no joy in his face, and he's just won the world title.
Yeah. I remember, it reminds me, it's really odd, it reminds me, in Formula One, there's a driver called Paul di Resta, and he hasn't driven, he's one of their sports commentators, he's part of Sky Sports team. But years ago, he used to drive for Force India. He's a Scottish lad. And Force India weren't like a major team. They're in a small franchise. And he got like 4th place with them, which is insane. That's really good. Really, really good. And they were like, Paul, you just got 4th with Force India. How do you feel? And he was just like, a really good result. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, happy for the team. He was like Andy Murray, just
Yeah.
and that's how Petr Yan is the Russian Andy Murray.
I think the reason he's being called the paper champ, I don't know how many people even know who Andy Murray is that are going to watch this. Only the English people are going to know. But the reason Petr is obviously called the paper champ is just he hasn't really beat anyone that's of great
Jose
stature.
doesn't count now.
No, it doesn't because
What?
it
When
doesn't.
Does Jose count? Okay,
it
does
doesn't.
Marlon Moraes count?
Yeah, Marlon counts.
But Jose technically, like everyone thought Jose beat him. Why does he not count?
I think that
Jose is Jose Aldo. That's Jose Aldo.
I think he
Put
did.
some fucking respect on Jose Aldo.
Did you see that fight? Come on, man. Jose was literally
lighting
just
him up
like
for 2 rounds. Yeah, so 5-round fight.
no. Jose gave up. Jose was just like
I could say that against DC gave up then against Stipe. He was beating him for 4 rounds, and then all of a sudden in the 4th round,
no, he was getting
landing body
smashed
shots
in his stomach. Yeah, he was.
Well, only for 2
couldn't
minutes.
breathe. He couldn't breathe.
For 2
Trying to
minutes.
get hit in the stomach for 2 minutes.
Okay. Jose was winning for the whole thing. I had him winning every single round, and then Petr smashed him for 2-3 minutes in that.
And who else?
round.
Who else does he beat? Come on, who else does Petr beat?
Who
else does he beat?
He's only beating
Also,
in front of him.
Jose.
He beat
yeah,
Uriah Faber.
Jose's
There
great,
you go.
right? Jose is great. Yeah, Uriah Faber. What, he came back
I know,
like the Cali dad? Like he's an old man. What is he doing in there?
Yeah. He got smashed. Petr Yan is fucking good. Who does he have to beat to impress you then? If he beats Aljamain, would that?
Yeah, if he beats Aljamain, I'll give him something for that. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And then if Cody then comes up and he beats Cody as well, I'll be like, whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Who's Aljamain beating?
What? Who's he beating next?
Yeah, who's he beating? To give you the whoa, Aljamain's the man.
What was his last fight? Because it was he was on one of the first cards we've had of this lockdown, and he was on. I think he was even on prelim, but he was just so impressive. I can't even remember the fight right now.
Yeah,
but you're
so
right. You're right.
My point.
But unfortunately,
My point.
Okay, but unfortunately, if you look at the division as a whole, it's kind of blank. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of an empty division that's just now coming into its own again. Like, it was dead for a while, and there was every bit of chance that that division was going to get cut. So
135? No, 125 was. 135
yeah, you're right. You're right. But still, 125, 135. Cejudo just sort of.
It's because Dillashaw's not there anymore. One of the main reasons.
I'm not even excited for him to come back.
Mate,
I don't
fuck
really care.
Dillashaw. Fuck someone that took EPO to try. You're cheating. You're in a combat sport. It's one thing doing it in cycling, fine, not hurting anyone technically.
Okay, but yes,
but you could do a drug and hurt someone. Like, fuck you.
I believe the difference when it comes to, say, Lance Armstrong, going on a tangent here, is that you had to go down 27 places before you found someone that wasn't doing it.
Yeah. What's the Bill Burr joke? The Bill Burr joke when my roided up guy beat your roided up guy.
Yeah, exactly. So what does it matter? Like,
I love that.
It's the same as whatever. It doesn't matter if they're all doing it or not doing it. It's the same thing.
The fact that
But
no
in
one is
fighting,
doing
it's
it
different.
except him. Fuck you, TJ. The thing is as well, it's like I wanted to root for TJ when I saw The Ultimate Fighter because Cody is so stupid, and he's
I think they both are.
He's so, but he's just dim. He's just dim. He's not like a nasty person. I really don't think he is. I just think he's dim and he's got no fuse. He's just going, whoop, I'm off.
They're both lads. They're both from that culture.
TJ's just so petty and stupid and horrible, and I was like, you're both twats. It's like, I prefer Cody. I'd rather someone stupid make me laugh. I like watching Cody fight more as well, but I don't want to watch someone that's cheated. I can't do it. That's why whenever John Jones fights, I'm always like, did he cheat? Did he not? Like, I don't want to. I can't support him. I'll watch him. I can't.
See, the thing is,
I'll never root for him again. Once I found
for
out
Jones.
For anyone that's ever done, I can't root for Anderson Silva anymore. like I loved Anderson Silva so much. Me and my stepdad he was the one fighter that we always got so giddy for every time because he's just murking everyone. And I don't believe he ever did drugs because he never had he was never ripped. He always had like a dad bod or like just like abs through it, almost like a little line. But when he got caught taking the steroid, but I think it was to heal his leg when he snapped his leg up.
Yes, yeah.
But he lied and said it was about his sex, like with his wife or something. He said it was like trying to get he said he couldn't get his libido up, and then he said it was about this, and it's because
he was using it. He was using it for TRT.
I think so, but because he's done it while he was still in a testing pool, I can't trust him. I can't support that. I don't want to be a hypocrite and support someone that's done been
fair enough.
That's been
there are obviously different reasons for taking it, like.
Yeah, I don't believe he ever did it for a competition game, whereas I do believe TJ Dillashaw did because he was so afraid to lose after chatting so much fucking shit.
Steroids being testosterone, the main reason people take it is for recovery. That is what it's for. That's why bodybuilders get so big, because they're able to recover faster, so they work out again. Working out breaks the muscles. The steroids fix the muscles, you break the muscles, and that's what it's for. So yeah, I kind of understand that he probably did do it to help recover from an injury, but it's still illegal.
Yeah, it's another reason he doesn't make my GOAT list. You've got a drug on the record. Otherwise, on my GOAT video, which will come out soon, I don't. It's UFC Mount Rushmore as well. It's not MMA Mount Rushmore. Before people I know people put in the chat, what about Thingy? And it's like, yeah, but
it's like, yeah, but he's
UFC only. Like if Fedor, for instance, Fedor Emelianenko, people would put him on probably, and I'm like, he never fought in UFC, so I can't put him on. It's a UFC Mount Rushmore. It's hard enough doing that. As we said, we need a Last Supper or a Knights of the Round Table or something with multiple people. I need like 10 fighters.
I lost you for a second there, so I didn't see.
I was saying top 10 of all time would be so much easier than just 4.
Yeah.
It's like so hard because there's like even 5 is better. Just give me one more. Because there's like when you have 2, you have to put on in your head. You've only got 2 spots left. And then what do you base it on? Do you base it on just fighting career, or do you base it on what they've done for the sport? You know, because in that case, you'd have to put McGregor and Rousey on it.
For the amount of promotion that they've done for the sport.
Yeah, you'd have to put Hoist, Chuck, Ronda, Connor. That's it.
Hoist,
done. Yeah. That's it, done. Those 4. That's it.
Yeah, but okay.
That's based on promotion side. But what's the criteria? Is it everything included? Is it what they've done, how they fight?
Yeah, because if you're going to say it's, you know, the greatest fighters of all time, like if there's a little collective of GOAT, then you have to put someone like Amanda Nunes on there. You can't not. But if you've already run out of space,
that's the thing. If you run out of space, you run out of space. You get some people like, nah, the women's competition isn't as, you know, it's not as stacked as the men's. You know, no, it's not as stacked as the men's. It's not, you know what I mean? They're not as skillful. It's like you shouldn't go on there because of that. Maybe in the future, and it's like people wouldn't have Rousey on it at the time because no one knew how to defend judo. I'm like, that's not her problem, is it? Still fucked them up.
Again, this is eras that we're talking. It's like each era, something has changed. People add things, and it makes it harder. And then the new people that come up, you know, bring this full circle back to Weidman. You know, it's the eras.
Yeah, he never evolved. She's evolved.
Yeah. Mm.
That's why I like people that fought in multiple generations, Anderson Silva. But GSP. He's my GOAT all time, all day.
For me, it's Amanda. Like, I can just say Amanda.
Is she your greater of all time, man and woman?
Yeah. I don't have... there's no standout male fighter for me.
GSP?
There are a lot of fighters.
John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, they're the 3 standouts.
See, this is the thing. But no one stands head above the rest.
My opinion, GSP. He's only ever lost twice. Both people he lost to, he fought again, beat him. Matt Hughes, 26-2. So, and one of them was a fluke.
I love both of those Matt Hughes fights are amazing as well.
3 Matt Hughes fights.
3?
Yeah. Got armbarred in the first, and then he beat Matt Hughes twice. Yeah, armbar as well. Beat him at his own game.
So I think I've seen the first 2. I may not have seen the third one.
Yeah, armbars him again.
Okay.
3 Matt Hughes fights. UFC Genesis 79.
when it used to be named.
Yeah, I believe it's UFC Genesis 79. The main event is Chuck Liddell versus Wanderlei Silva, and then the co-main is GSP versus Matt Hughes 3. I believe it might be the other way around. God, if I get that right, let me Google that. Actually, you Google it, so I'm not cheating. If I get that right,
which card do you think it is?
UFC Genesis 79.
Yeah,
I think it's
79.
Yeah, is it 79?
And you think it's the main event?
I think the main event is Chuck Wanderlei. The co-main is George and Matt 3.
So 79 is Liddell Silva.
Yeah.
And it's Nemesis.
Nemesis, not Genesis. Fuck.
No, you're close.
Okay, close.
George St. Pierre, Matt Hughes is on that card, yeah.
Lovely.
That's 2007.
There you go. Do you know why I know that card? It's not because I've got a good memory. That's because my mum went to that event. And my mum got married to my stepdad on the weigh-in day. And then they met GSP and Evan Tanner and a few others. My mum's got pictures of GSP. And he's like fucking jacked. And he's just like, hello, Kim, how are you today? There's a video out there of her saying hi George saying hi to my mum.
Nice.
How old?
You should dig that out, put that on.
Then they also met Evan Tanner, and then like a week later, he fucking rode a dirt bike into Nevada desert and never came back. He's been dead since. Like what? Evan Tanner, like middleweight, like heavyweight fighter. Yeah, he's a good fighter as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week though.
Next week, I'm very looking forward. Well, I mean, there's the next 3 big title fights to come. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Some good ones.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't know a lot about these, the last couple of fight nights, but it is also exciting.
They're lower rated cards. That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's exciting to see the new people come in, and there's been a lot of new people this summer. Like, the
roster's at like 800 people or something. It's mad.
It's hard to keep up. Like, I can't remember everybody. It's insane. But I've made notes of people that I have found very interesting and will continue to watch going forth.
Yeah. Most fighters obviously Brazilian and American as well. So.
Say again?
Most fighters are Brazilian and American as well.
Because of Vegas, which is where we had the last fight with Darren Till. We had a lot of English fighters on that card. Yeah, and then.
Did you see Frank Mir's tweet, by the way?
About Frank Mir Jr.?
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Tom Aspinall. He went, good job, son, or something.
Nice.
It's kind of like Chase Hooper did to Ben Askren. It's like, don't hurt my dad.
You know what's funny about the Hooper Askren thing? I hate to say it, but I mean, I don't rate Ben Askren anymore. And
shit. I don't rate Chase Hooper.
I don't rate Chase Hooper. So they're sort of in the same.
Yeah. Chase tough as fuck, Chase.
Oh, yeah. But you don't want to take that many shots, especially at, how old was he, 18 or 19? He's 20.
Yeah.
And he's, oh my God, he takes it.
He's fresh face, isn't he?
Jesus.
I looked at him, I was like, Jesus Christ. He got hit once and it was like, he's never been punched in his face, has he? Like, that hard anyway. Alex Caceres lit him up. Dude's fast.
He ate huge shots in both of his UFC fights. Won one, lost one, but doesn't look great.
Hey, he's got a win in the UFC though. He'll
he
right.
does. His first fight was a win, so
I just hope he's not another Sage Northcutt where he just could promise and be incredible, but just.
Well, I think because he's had his loss so quickly, slow down with him. Like he was going to be sort of pushed a little bit, but slow down because this kid's getting smashed in the face. Even if
Alex
he wins.
Caceres he's dangerous, but he's a prelim fighter forever. He's never anything else. You know?
I like Caceres though.
He's 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. That's all he is.
But I like him. I find him
he's Bruce Leroy
to watch. Yeah,
can't beat that. That's what he does. Right, is that the end of it?
Yeah, man. That's it.
Cool.
I'm going to sleep now.
Looking forward to it, yeah.